Hi, I'm Kirk Cross. I'm with Olathe Ford RV here in Gardner. Today we're going to be doing a walkthrough on our Cross Trail Coachmen unit. This unit is no generator, and it's fully operated with solar panels and a lithium battery. We'll talk more about that when we get on the inside, but now let's get to our walkthrough. Okay, on this particular Cross Trail, you do have side cameras. So when you turn on your right turn signal, you're gonna see on the monitor on the inside, you're gonna see the view of this down the right side. Same on the other side, the left side. When you turn on the left blinker, you'll have the monitor view. And also the coach is equipped with backup cameras. So when you put it in reverse, you'll have a view of what's going on behind you. But all the time you're driving, you'll have all three views on the monitor that you can see all the way around the coach. Okay, we've got our side mirrors on both sides. They are adjustable from inside the driver's seat, so you can adjust. You just want to be able to see that back right corner and the back left corner on the other side at all times when you're traveling. Okay, we've got our privacy curtain here. This is on the outside of the unit, and the way that you put this on, you can see it's connected to the side of the door here. So this just comes off to be able to take off the unit, or to put it on, you put it on like that, and then you have a couple of metal clips here, plastic clips that hold it in place. When you shut the door and you lock the door on the driver's side and the passenger side, nobody can get in to take this off. So it's always protected, but it's giving you the privacy on the inside. And as you can see from the front view, it covers the whole front of the vehicle on the driver's side and on the passenger side, as well as here in the front. Okay, we got our unleaded fuel is what we're running on this particular coach, and this is where you would fill that up, and of course that's the only thing you're going to fill up before you bring this back to us on the date that you return. Okay, we've got storage down underneath here. A lot of times this is where we keep your drinking water hose, your spray hose for outside water, and also your 90-degree dump station. We'll talk about that when we get to those items here in the very back. This is your lithium battery underneath here, and there's of course no storage in there, but that's how we get to the lithium battery. Hopefully you wouldn't have to do anything there with the lithium battery while you're traveling. Power cord, 30 amp service is what you're requiring to operate this unit. There's no generator on this particular unit, so you do need 30 amp service is what you would be requiring at the RV park to keep the unit charged up and running at full capacity. The other way is to, of course, drive the unit, and you've got an alternator that is attached to the lithium batteries that would help charge those batteries, as well as your solar panel up on the roof that will help to keep everything charged up and ready to go. Okay, here we got our dump station. You got, of course, your black lever back over here is your toilet, and the gray handle here operates your gray tank. Of course, you've got monitors on the inside that will tell you how full those tanks are. Currently, both the black and the gray have been emptied, and so when you check the monitor on the inside, those will both read as empty. Once they fill up, then they will read full on the inside, and that's when you know you have to dump them. I've got a 90-degree dump here that would go down into the dump station, and of course your dump hose is right back here in the back bumper that would attach here, as well as to the 90-degree. Always take you an old pair of gloves or something to mess with this anytime that you're having to dump the dump station, but you've got plenty of room there to fill those up for your trip. Okay, your dump hose is located right here in the rear bumper. There's your orange dump hose. It's about a 15-foot dump hose, and you're able to hook that up directly down here to the dump station, as well as to the side of the coachman here, and to dump those tanks when they get full. Okay, we've got our back entrance here to the unit. So if you're traveling with bikes or some other type of transportation that you want to take along with you, you have tie downs in here that you could tie them down. On the door here, you've got a screen door that allows you to shut that and close that off, which allows some nice airflow throughout the coach if you don't want to be running any AC. And of course, then you've got your regular door that you can close. It's got 2 locks on it, a deadbolt and a regular lock. And on your key ring, there will be a key that will lock those to keep those secure. Got our outside spray portal here. This is where we would hook up our spray nozzle here with the quick connect, and then you'd have a quick hose connection here for spraying off kids, dogs. You go out hiking and you're dirty and you want to get clean before you go inside, you could use this process here. Here's our water hookups for the unit. And of course, if you're at an RV park, you're going to be hooking up to city water connection, which is this outlet right here. Here on the drinking water hose, we got our water regulator, and the water regulator is preset at 40 PSI. So this is what would screw in right here to our city water connection. And then the other end is going to go to wherever we get our water access. Once you're hooked up to city water, then everything on the inside is going to operate just like a house. So it's the water pressure going in is what's driving everything for you on the inside. And this is where you would fill the tank on board before you make a trip. Approximately got a 35 to 40 gallon tank on board for fresh water. I would recommend always putting at least 5 to maybe 10 gallons of water on board. That will allow you, when you're traveling, to pull off the side of the road and to turn on the water pump and to be able to use the bathroom, wash hands, soap and water while you're traveling. Black tank flush is optional. You do not have to use that, but if you choose to use that, you could hook up your water hose right here with your water regulator, and that's going to blow water into the black tank for when you're dumping your black tank on the other side that we looked at previously. It's optional, and again, it's just going to throw more water into that tank. Make sure that you've always got that black tank open. That's going to allow for that water to come out anytime that you're throwing more water down into that black tank. Okay, on this side of our cross trail, we've got storage. Not a very big storage, but it is good sized storage. You might get some little bag chairs in here. This would be a good place for small, like little folding tables that you have. Anything small is going to fit in there and travel very well. Of course, you've got locks on both of these that you'll be able to lock that door up, as well as any of your panels that you want to lock up. Now we're going to talk about our hot water heater. This particular cross trail has got what they call continuous hot water. And we've got a button here that just leave that on in the on position all the time. And that's really all you need to do out here. When we get on the inside, I'm going to demonstrate a couple other areas that you have to turn on some water to get that hot water to work. And again, we'll talk about that when we get on the inside. Here's my exhaust from my furnace. So if we're running our furnace at all, that time of year when you need a little extra heat in the morning to take the chill off, just know that this gets hot. If you got any little ones that are traveling with you, make sure nobody touches this. Down here we've got our propane quick connect cable, and this is where if you bring your barbecue grill and you want to be able to hook up to the propane that's on board, as long as you have your quick connect cable that goes with your barbecue grill, whether it be a Blackstone or some other manufacturer, if you quick connect in here, then you're going to be able to run your propane barbecue smoker, grill, whatever you have. Okay, we've got our propane tank on this unit. It's located right here, and you do have a full load of propane. This is also your emergency shutoff valve. If there was any kind of alarm that went off on the inside, this is where you would turn off your propane. But right now you've got a full load of propane, and that does have to be filled by a certified technician. A lot of your RV dealerships will have that capability to refill that. But for this particular trip that you're going on, you're going to have propane for at least a week or more. Okay, last item that we've got here before we go inside is our awning. And our awning is the #1 item that tends to get damaged. The wind, of course, is the culprit, does the most damage to this. Any wind gust over 18 miles an hour, I would recommend that you leave the awning in. Of course, remember, if you do bring it out, there's no law that says you have to bring it all the way out. So if you want to bring it out maybe 2 or 3 feet and you're sitting underneath of it and it's giving you some shade, then great. At night, always remember to bring in your awning. Do not leave it out overnight. There are a lot of storms that can blow in overnight, and it's going to be very hard in the morning when you wake up and you've got damage because you left that out overnight. So please remember to bring in your awnings at night. Okay, we've got our TV here on the particular Cross Trail. This unit has got an antenna that is built into the roof, and so there's nothing that you have to put up or down on an antenna, but it's a typical smart TV. So if by some chance you do have a smartphone that you have a hotspot on, you are able to stream to this TV. You just need to be sure and bring your Netflix or your Prime passwords, and you'll be able to stream directly to that as long as you're able to get a Wi-Fi password. Otherwise, it's going to be just running off of the antenna, and whatever town that you're in, you're going to want to go into the settings and to rescan for the local channels. Right now it's set up here on the Kansas City market, but when you get on down into another city or state, just remember to scan and you'll pick up those 3 or 4 local channels that would run off of the antenna. Okay, we've got our RV troubleshooting guide that is specific to this particular unit. This is going to answer all the questions that you have about this particular unit. So if you do forget something that we've talked about, you can come right in here. This is broken down by area. So I've got the outside, I've got the inside, kitchen, bathroom, dining room area. They're all divided up here, and so you can go in here and find the answer to any question that you might have. Of course, if by some chance you still have some questions, there is an 800 number that is listed right in here, and that is a 24-hour roadside assistance number that you can come to and call them, and they will be happy to try to talk you through any questions that you have. Okay, we got a couple of things down here that we need to talk about. This is your main battery disconnect, and for this particular trip that you're going to be going on, just leave that in the on position, the arrow facing the green, the whole trip. There's no reason to turn that off during this trip. Of course, here we've already covered, you got your panel for operating your awning, and it's that button in and out. And I've got interior lights here, and I've got also patio lights on the awning that we talked about earlier as well. Got your fire extinguisher here. Hope you don't ever have to use it, but it is fully charged and ready to go. Okay, we got our seating area here, and of course this does make down into a full bed, but if you've got people here traveling, you've got your seat belts down under here that you're able to use for people traveling. And then each one of these little areas has got their own little private little table, so if they want to have their little drink sitting out over here, they can have that while they're traveling. But these just come off, and they're very easy to put in on any corner that you want. For the bed, if you decide that you do want to use this as a special bed, then this just picks up and it lays completely flat. And then we've got one on this side over here that will actually pull up as well. And these two laid out together makes into a nice good sized bed that 2 people could sleep in this particular unit, as well as the 2 bunks that you have in the back that we're going to talk about shortly. Okay, we've got our overhead storage, and all of these are operated with just the little push button up underneath here. So those shut, and then you just push on that little button and that opens up. But you've got good storage along here to be able to handle any amount of storage that you have on this unit. Back here in the kitchen area, you've got, of course, an overhead cabinet area with some good storage. And then we've got your cabinets down below here for storage as well. We're going to talk here a little bit about your cooktop. This is induction, and induction cooking is a little bit different. You do have special pans that we have in here for you. I've got 3 skillets, but the way this operates is you first turn on your on and off button. You've got 2 buttons here. You can see the lights all light up, and now I'm just going to hit the function button, and that turned up to E1. And now I'm going to sit my pan right on top of that. And now you can kind of hear the fan kick in, and what's happening right now is that that's starting to heat up that pan. And so the great thing about induction, and on this particular cooktop, I've got a couple of different levels of cooking. I can change it down to 1, or I can change it all the way up to as high as 8 or 9, I believe, to get that pan really hot. But anytime I take that off, it disconnects. Nothing that's going to burn me here, but that pan is hot, I can assure you, and it's ready to cook some bacon or whatever you might want to do in the morning for breakfast. Once I sit it back down on, it will continue to pick right back up where it was at. And anytime I'm wanting to take it off, I could sit it over to an off burner, and this would then just stay off. But again, nothing is going to burn me if I accidentally touch that. To turn it off, I just hit the off button until the power goes off. The same on the second burner over here, but these again are the only types of pans that are allowed to work with this induction. We need to also make sure that when you're cleaning the inside of a pan of this nature, that you're not using anything abrasive. No Brillo pads or anything that could kind of mess up the interior of this, that we would have to replace those. So make sure you're just using either a paper towel, damp paper towel, to wipe out these and clean these really well to keep them in good shape. Okay, we've got a standard microwave here, and of course you've got your little plate in there. Make sure that that plate stays in there all the time, but just normal minutes for cooking on a standard microwave. Okay, we got storage up here on this side, and you do have a hanging bar in this particular unit that you can see where you could hang clothing on this particular unit. And down below we've got more storage that would be for a pantry area, as well as we've got our extra toilet paper and things in there, your chemical packet for use in your toilet. Got our bathroom here. And of course, it is a wet area, full wet area. So when we turn on some lighting in there, I've got my toilet, and on the right side of that toilet, as you're facing it, is a pedal that would allow you to flush that toilet. Halfway down for liquids, all the way down to the floor for solids. And of course, if you go in to take a shower, there's a curtain here that would pull to give you your full wet area, to try to keep the water from coming out here too much. But shut the door to the bathroom, and most of that water will stay on the inside there. Of course, you've got your water here and your shower nozzle up above to operate if you wish to take a shower in there. Okay, our continuous hot water heater. We've already got our water heater turned on the panel down on the other side here that we'll talk about in just a couple minutes. This one is turned on, and to make this operate, now we have to go over to a faucet and actually turn on the hot water. So I'm going to walk over and turn on the faucet to the hot water, and we'll come back here and take a peek at this to see how it starts to recycle, and that temperature will start to rise. Okay, you can see temperature going up, and of course the water is turned on here, and now I've got hot water. It's been less than 20 seconds, and we now have got continuous hot water, but the hot water does have to be running to be able to make that work. So you turn off the hot water, and of course, right now we've got the water pump running because we are not hooked up to any water source, so we're draining the water out of the freshwater tank currently. If we were hooked up to city water, we would have continuous hot water all the time. And again, remember, when you're hooked up to city water, you've got a system that is operating very similar to a house. Everything on the inside will just work. Okay, we got our bunk beds here. Weight limit 220 pounds on each one of these bunks, but you can see they fold down, and we've got another one up here. So we'd have capability for 2 people back here to sleep. Both of these bunks have got outlets for plugging in items, 110, and I've also got USB for charging phones. Okay, we've got our fully electric Norcold refrigerator. It is 12 volt and it's been up and running for well over an hour or so, but I've got nice and cold up in the freezer section and my fridge is actually cold. The 12 volt is very efficient. They cool down in about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes compared to a propane / electric refrigerator, but the new style tends to be all electric. Listen for that click. When you hear that click, you know that everything is sealed up properly. Down below, I've got here my breaker panel. Breaker panels are pretty standard on all these units. I've got my breakers over here. They're all labeled what they're all for. And then on this side, I've got my 12 volt fuses. We do have extra fuses up in the glove box for you. They are color coded and numbered. So you just match up a good number with that and pull out the bad one, pop in the new one, and you should be good to go. A little light will pop on right next to the fuse. That's telling you that that is a bad fuse. So there's no hunting and pecking. You just pull that out, match up a good one with the new fuse, put it in, and throw away the bad one, and you should be good to go. Okay, we've got our thermostat here, which controls our AC and our heat. So the first thing we're going to do is hit the mode button. It's reading off down here in the lower right-hand corner. I hit the mode button again. It's going to take me over to a fan. So if I just wanted to run the fan, I could do that. I hit it over here to the little snowflake, and you're going to see the snowflake working. And now we've got that temperature, and there comes our AC on. If I want that heat on, I'm just going to go over to the mode button and go to the little furnace. And then here in a couple seconds, the AC will kick off. And now the furnace is going to kick on here shortly. And we would have our heater working in those temperatures that maybe you would want to use on a cold morning. Hit the mode button again, and it's going to just turn off that unit. And now that's basically ready for traveling. Over here on our control panel, we've got a few areas here where we can check our levels. LPG, that's our propane. So when I hold that button down, it's all lit up to over there to F, telling me that we got a full load of propane. The battery, if I hold that button down, it's giving me a full reading that it is completely charged. My fresh tank. Again, to start out, you want at least a third. Looks like we've got 2/3 of water on board already for that first trip. And then my black tank, that's empty right now. Currently nothing in the black tank. That's our toilet. And then our gray tank, that's going to be our dirty water. That's empty as well. Gray water is for your sinks, your kitchen and your bathroom sink, as well as your shower. And again, those are in the 30 to 40 gallon range that you would have for storage on those. Down below here, I've got, obviously, there's my water pump, and the only time that you're going to be using water pump is if you're boondocking or you're pulling off the side of the road and you wish to use the restroom. You could turn on that water pump to have some water to come up so you could flush the toilet. I'm a big kind of turn off when I'm not using things, so I turn those off. Over here is my hot water heater, and again, I'm currently not running my hot water heater, so I'm going to turn that off as well. Down below here, you can see when I hit the button that says touchscreen, it's saying 100% charge on my lithium batteries. And on this particular unit, anytime that battery level gets below 50%, you want to be real careful on this unit. If you've got the AC running, it's drawing more power than what the sun is producing on the solar panels. So it's going to make it very difficult to get that lithium battery recharged. Best way to get it recharged is either to drive the vehicle for several hours, which would help charge that battery, that lithium battery, or to plug it into 30 amp service, many hours plugged in, and it should recharge that battery. But as long as you're seeing 100%, which we've got right now on that battery, we're good to go. Okay, we've got our parking brake down below here, and of course we do recommend anytime that you're at a campsite or you're on any type of incline that you do pull that parking brake and set it completely, so that that's going to make sure that you're not going to go any place that you don't want to be. We're here in the driver's seat of our Cross Trail. First on our keys, there's our ignition key. typical fob that will lock my driver's door and my passenger side door. I've got door keys over here. The black ones are my door keys. I've got, of course, a door in the back, and I've got a side door entrance here. They both look identical, but one is specific to the side door and the other one is specific to the back entrance. And then I've got a 751 key on here, the little silver keys that you're going to see. That is what locks any of the outside storage compartments. I think I've got one smaller storage compartment on the back side over there that is locked with that little gray-white key as well. So for operational purposes, we're going to just turn that key ignition on. We're going to hear that we've got everything is coming up to life. We'll go ahead and start our vehicle. And of course my seatbelt is telling me to put on my seatbelt, so as any good traveler, I'm going to put on my seatbelt. And now we'll just go over a few things here on the inside. Of course, we've got our screen up under here, which is a typical Ford screen, which is going to show you a lot of different information on your data sharing screen. I do have 331 miles till empty, so I do have a full tank of gas that is noted down below. But I can maneuver and change my trip meter, my outside temperature. All those things are available here on the panel to operate that data sharing screen. If I'm talking hands-free, I've got a couple of buttons here that will allow me to answer phones. Once I have connected my phone to the system, I can talk hands-free here by just hitting the button. On this side over here, this is going to be where we have our cruise control, normal cruise control. It's not active cruise, so you do have to stop the vehicle before you run into the vehicle in front of you. But typical cruise, whatever speed limit is, whatever you're comfortable with, you'll be able to operate that right here on this panel. Of course, I've got volume controls for my stereo, everything on here, and of course I've got then a button that will operate my volume as well for my stereo. AC and everything is controlled on this panel. So again, if I want a plus or minus, I just hit the button and up comes my temperature here. If I want that to come down, I hit it again and I can use the touch screen here to move that down, or I can hit the button and it will raise or lower my temperature. On this side, I've got my fan speed. So right now we're at about halfway at 5. If I want to lower that down, I can drag it down to 2 or 3, or I can hit the button to increase it down here. Either way, we'll adjust that fan speed for your AC. Same with heat as well. On the left side over here, of course, you've got your turn signals, and you can see when I turn on my left turn signal, what it's going to do is it's going to give me my view down my left side here. The same on the right side. And then if I put it in reverse, if I put my foot on the brake and I put us in reverse, you're going to see up here, there's my back view behind us. And again, when I'm traveling down the road, all 3 views are going to function and show me what's going on all the way around this vehicle. So that's a nice feature to just give you another idea of what's happening around the trailer as you're driving down the road. Okay. Over on this side over here, I've got my mirror adjustments over here to adjust those mirrors on my left and my passenger side. I've got my lighting down below here, the little round knob to turn on my lights. If I turn it all the way over to the B, then that is on automatic, and my lights will come on automatically at dusk and turn off at dawn. I got my emergency flashers over here. So if I'm parked somewhere that I need my emergency flashers, I can turn those on. I've got USB down here for charging. I've got a 12 volt here if I wanted to operate a Garmin or something of that nature. And then up in here, I've got my own private 12 volt as well as my own USB up here for charging as well. A couple of cup holders on each side for the driver and the passenger seat. And then of course I've got my glove box here, and there's my fuses for my extra for the breaker panels in the back that we talked about earlier. And then of course all my manuals and everything are down in there as well. But basically an overall view. My height on this vehicle, we are 10 feet high to the top of the AC shroud. So most of your major highways, you're going to be easily able to pass underneath all of those. It's when you get off the major highways that you have to pay really close attention. Anything that is below 10 feet, do not go under it. Find another way to get underneath or around that unit. We are also 10 feet wide, mirror to mirror. So those are my dimensions for my height and my width on this particular unit. Thanks for joining us today on this walkthrough of our Cross Trail Coachmen RV. If you, of course, have any questions, be sure and give us a call at any time. We'll be happy to answer all those questions for you. And happy camping.